You're in a meeting. The leader shares their opinion first. And without realizing it, everyone in the room starts forming their ideas around what was just said. This is called anchoring. How the first opinion in the room becomes the reference point everyone else measures their own thinking against, even when they don't agree with it. My name is Mtavisi. I'm a public speaking coach and a keynote speaker, and I've worked with hundreds of leaders, executives, and their teams across North America. And here's what I want to talk to you about today. If you're a leader and your best people aren't speaking up in your meetings, it might not be because they don't have anything to say. It might be because of something you're doing without even realizing it. Let's start with why this should matter to you immediately. Recent global workforce research found that employee disengagement is now costing the world over $10 trillion a year. To put that in perspective, because what is $10 trillion really? That's larger than the entire economy of most countries on Earth. And it's not just a global problem. It shows up directly in your numbers. Teams with engaged employees are nearly a quarter more profitable than teams without. Teams with low engagement lose people almost twice as often. And losing someone isn't cheap. Replacing one employee can cost you anywhere from half their salary to double it once you factor in recruiting, training, and the productivity lost while that seat sits empty. So if someone on your team is making $80K a year and quits because they felt unheard, that single departure could cost you anywhere from $40K to $160K to replace them. Here's the connection most leaders miss. Disengagement doesn't usually start with someone hating their job. It starts with someone having an idea, a concern, or a warning, choosing not to share it, and slowly disconnecting from a workplace they don't feel heard in. The silence in your meetings isn't neutral. It's actively costing you money, retention, and the innovation that your competitors are capturing instead. Harvard researcher Amy Edmondson has spent decades studying psychological safety. And one thing she's clear about, psychological safety isn't about being nice. It's about creating the conditions for candor. Before someone speaks up, they're running a quiet risk assessment. Will I look ignorant? Will I look incompetent? Will this create conflict? Have I been punished for speaking before? And the more senior the room, the louder the assessment gets, because the stakes of being wrong in front of leadership feel higher. So your most capable people stay quiet, not because they have nothing to offer, but because the room hasn't told them it's safe to offer it. So what actually creates that safety? 3 things. Number 1, model it. The fastest way to make a room safe is to be the first person willing to not have the answer. Something like, I don't know, what do you all think? Or, I could be wrong here, so I want to hear where I might be missing something. That single sentence does more than any policy or training session. It tells the room that not knowing is allowed, that being wrong is allowed. And if it's allowed for the leader, it's allowed for everyone else. There's also a structural piece worth knowing. Research on anchoring shows that the first opinion shared in a group becomes the reference point. Everyone else measures against, often without realizing it. So if you're the leader and you speak first, you're not just sharing an opinion. You are quietly shaping the room's entire perspective before anyone else even has a chance to think for themselves. That's why some of the best leaders I've worked with deliberately speak last. They ask their team to share first, fully formed, before adding their own view. It protects the room from anchoring around their authority instead of getting the team's honest thinking. Number 2, invite it. Don't wait for people to volunteer. Ask directly, what's something I should know that I haven't asked you about yet? That single question does something powerful. It assumes there's something worth knowing, and it puts the responsibility on the leader to go looking for it instead of waiting for someone to be brave enough to bring it to you. Remember, the people on your team are having their own private speaking conversations. The bigger the gap in hierarchy, the louder that internal voice gets. telling them to stay quiet. Your job as the leader is to be louder than that voice in their heads, to make the invitation so clear and so safe that speaking up becomes the easier choice. And number 3, reward it. This doesn't mean rewarding every idea as if it's brilliant. It means rewarding the act of sharing itself. A simple thank you for bringing that up after someone speaks. Even if the idea isn't the one you go with, it tells the room that visibility is safe here, that you don't need the best idea to be welcome in this conversation. You just need to be willing to be seen having ideas. This is what creates real brainstorming, real innovation. Not chaos, not every idea getting actioned on, but a room where people trust that contributing won't cost them anything. I've seen this play out directly with the leaders I've coached. One leader I worked with made a small but deliberate change. In every meeting, she stopped sharing her opinion first. She'd ask her team to weigh in before she said a word. At first, the room was quiet, conditioned by years of waiting for her to lead. But within a few weeks, people started coming prepared with real opinions because they knew their thinking, not hers, would also shape the conversation. Another leader started simply saying, I could be wrong, so tell me where you see it differently before making big decisions. That one sentence changed how openly his team pushed back on him in the best way. Neither of these cost anything. No new software, no training, no budget, no restructuring. Just a leader willing to go first in being vulnerable so that their team doesn't have to go first in taking a risk. Your best people are not staying quiet because they have nothing to say. They're staying quiet because somewhere along the way, the room taught them it wasn't safe to say it. That can change, and it starts with you. Model not knowing. Invite the answer you haven't heard yet. Reward the courage to speak, not just the quality of the idea. Because the meeting after the meeting is where your competitors are already losing money. Make sure it's not where you're losing yours. If this resonated with you, make sure you watch my next video. I'll see you there.